Now, let's play a nice wholesome game of eels and escalators.
Oh boy, my favorite!
Come on, Gary needs a new pair of shoes!
This was a Flash game that has become completely lost to time. It let you make your own games based on the following shows: SpongeBob SquarePants, iCarly, The Penguins of Madagascar, Fanboy and Chum Chum, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. This version was less impressive from a technical standpoint compared to the other versions. It had a lower resolution. You had to get the other side of the map to beat the game. There was no customizability in that regard. A blue coin would give you invincibility. This would later be changed to a green coin. There were also some bugs in the game that were fixed in later versions. And you could change the title screen, so... The second version had a higher resolution, allowed for different objectives other than just getting to the other side of the screen, but you couldn't change the title screen.
Too bad, SpongeBob. You gotta ride the eel.
Darn.
This is a lost song from Weird Al Yankovic. It's part of his early work, which has been kept obscure because he is embarrassed by his early work. It has only ever been recorded live at the second show at Knott's Berry Farm at June 12th, 1981. Like most of his early work, it has been played on live events. One example is the Dr. Demento show, other than the one I just mentioned. Yankovic has gone on to say that he'd rather let nude pictures of him be leaked on the internet than to ever release any of his early work, including Orgy on My Own.
As I walk through the valley where I harvest my grain, I take a look at my wife and realize she's very plain.
I'm Chris Hansen.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
I mean, no, you're not.
Yes, I am.
It's no surprise that To Catch a Predator has lost media, and it's also no surprise that a lot of it goes into some very dark places, so viewers' discretion is advised. Considering the show spanned across the country, it's no surprise that there was lost media, but each area managed to get lost media of some kind. This includes uncut confrontations from Chris Hansen, chat logs in their entirety, and police interrogations. Everything that was lost when the Perverted Justice website went down has been found. As the website has been archived, what's unclear is if there were uncut confrontations that were never leaked. Ryan Hogan's police interrogation has never been released to the public. It's unclear if Perverted Justice ever had access to it in its entirety. This sting included 19 men, and controversy was levied toward Fairfax police for being reluctant to arrest anyone. All of the chat logs are available, but the uncut confrontations are mostly lost.
Okay. We'll see.
So I'm going to help you. Why'd you have to see me like that? Go ahead, Steve. What are you doing?
could. That's kind of an understatement, isn't it? Who are you here to see? I want to know a little bit more about why you're here. Well, I'm happy to tell you who I am. But I also want to go over some of this chat log. It appears from this that you were setting up a meeting with a 13-year-old boy. I have the transcript right here, so you might as well tell me all about it. Okay, you're only 13. Yep, 13. Living in Herman. For a 13-year-old, you handled yourself pretty well. Maybe I'll send you my pics. Yes, you are very cute, and when boys are that cute, they usually look like their moms. Loved meeting you, David. Sleep good. So you pretty much thought you were coming here to meet a 13-year-old boy named Conrad. Do you have anything to say for yourself? I like sucking and being sucked. I like to kiss. What do you do for a living?
A rabbi.
A rabbi. Now, presumably, you counsel families and children in your position as a rabbi. Children. What are you doing as a man of God, as a rabbi, in this house, trying to meet a 13-year-old boy?
I'm really, I don't want to do anything that's going to further make you angry.
I'm not angry.
You're coming across in a very angry and authoritative sense. I've asked you for identification as to who you are. You have to show it to me. Right now, all that's happened is that I'm sitting in a house. I've had an email correspondence.
And you sent pornographic pictures through the mail.
So,
Okay, that's a federal offense right there.
Look, you know I'm in trouble, and I know I'm in trouble. I am not interested in getting any further. This is not something that I've done ever.
You've never done this before. You know, because I hear that a lot.
Could you please show me, tell me who you are? I don't understand why I can't have some identification.
I'm more than happy to tell you who I am. I am Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators. You don't want to touch anybody. You don't want to.
You've got to stop this.
Sit down. Sit down.
You don't have any
You're
right
free to leave any time.
This sting included 50 people, and the police were more involved this time, i.e. they actually did their damn jobs. Most of what is lost is the confrontations, with a lot of it still lost to this day. More so, the police interrogations are also lost. This sting would see 17 men get arrested. The main components that are lost are the confrontations and police interrogations. Nicholas Bailey's segment would remain unedited, but both his chat log and uncut confrontation with Chris Hansen would later be found. However, no police interrogation has been made public.
Reason why you might be unhappy.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Hang on, I suppose.
And who are you here?
Cat.
Cat.
Pretty sure that's her name.
And who are you?
I'm Nick.
Nick. Nick, what is your last name?
I am Bailey.
Nick Bailey. And how old are you?
I am 19, sir.
You're 19. And how old is Cat?
I think she said she was 13 or 14.
13 or 14.
Yes.
And what are you doing
Just hang out, sir.
here? To hang out with a 13-year-old girl?
I have friends that are 13.
At 19, you have friends who are 13.
Yes.
Don't you see an issue with that?
No, not really, sir.
So you're in college,
Yes, sir.
and a 13-year-old is in 7th grade.
Yes, sir.
Are there college girls for you to hang out?
Yes, sir. But not any this weekend. They're all on spring break.
They're all on spring break.
Yes, sir.
So you thought you'd come visit a 13-year-old girl who's home alone.
She invited me, sir.
She may have invited you. But what makes you think it's appropriate to show up?
I had no false, sexual. Because I'm guessing that's the main issue right here. Is that you're afraid that I was going to try to do some sort of sexual act.
Well, why else would you come here?
Just to hang out.
Just to hang out.
Yes, sir.
How long were you going to hang out?
For as long as she felt comfortable. If she didn't feel comfortable around me, I would leave.
You talk about playing pool.
Yes, sir.
Well, if we played for clothes or something. You mean like strip pool? Sure, why not? Never played strip anything before. You talk about let's cuddle up, make out, all that fun stuff. We can watch a scary movie. You can protect me, especially since you'd be naked from losing the pool. These are your words.
Yes, sir.
That sounds like doing more than just hanging out. What am I to make of it?
I'm not sure, sir.
Why don't you tell me? You're the one who engaged in the chat here.
Just a friendly chat, sir.
Friendly chat. Talking about getting naked with a 13-year-old girl. What do you think would have happened had I not been?
Probably nothing, sir.
Nothing.
Yes, sir.
Do you see why one could be skeptical about that?
Yes, sir.
Why should anyone believe it?
Because the act did not happen, sir.
The act didn't happen because you met me and not a 13-year-old girl. Do you do this often?
No, sir.
So you're telling me this is the first time you've chatted online with a 13-year-old girl?
No, sir.
It's not the first time.
I have chatted with a few, and then as soon as I found their age out and they felt uncomfortable, I stopped talking.
But why even do it? Help me to understand it.
Most are fun to chat with.
Most are fun to chat with.
They normally are more. They normally talk better than.
They talk better than somebody who's your own age.
Yes, sir.
And what does that do for you?
Kills time, sir.
Kills time.
I don't normally go into anything sexual or anything like that. We just talk about our day.
Talk about being naked together. Don't you think maybe you should pick up a couple extra classes if you have that much spare time when you're talking to 12 and 13-year-old girls online?
I already have as much time, as many hours as I can, sir.
Perhaps more studying would be good?
My grades are fine, sir.
You know, it's illegal to try to solicit somebody this young for sex over the internet. It's against the law.
I know that, sir.
Then why did you do it?
I didn't solicit sex, sir.
So you were just going to hang out naked with a 13-year-old girl?
Probably not, sir.
But that's what you said, Nick. I mean, these are your words, not mine.
True, sir.
What do you have to say for yourself? What do you have to say for yourself?
That I wouldn't do anything like that with a 13-year-old girl, sir.
But you see why that's hard to believe.
Yes, sir.
What should happen to you?
What should happen to me right now, sir? I'm not sure.
Do you see how this looks?
Yes, sir.
Do you see why this is wrong?
Partially, sir.
Partially.
I know that it's wrong to have sex with a minor, and I wouldn't do that, sir.
But don't you think it's odd for a 19-year-old to be talking to all these
I don't talk to many, sir.
13-year-olds? Well, I know you've talked to at least 5 others in the last several days because I have the transcripts right here.
That's why.
I'm sorry?
I had noticed that in some of those Ohio chat rooms, which is, I'm guessing where you've been policing lately, is I've noticed that there was a lot of younger girls, and I was very skeptical of why that was happening.
Really?
Yes,
So
sir.
you sensed that something was wrong?
Yes, sir.
And why was that?
Just because it just seemed very odd that, because I've been in those kind of chat rooms for probably about 6 or 7 months now, and I've never seen anyone that young. Because there are age restrictions generally on the sites.
But these girls have said their age.
Yes, sir, and if you notice, most of them I have stopped talking to.
Why even talk to a 13-year-old girl in the first place?
Because generally they're on because they just want to talk. They just want to chat around. Most of the older ladies generally have to force conversation, or they're not really want to talk. They're just on for some other reason.
Here, you're talking to Jenny 13 Ohio. You're in the 8th grade, right? She says 7. Nice. So I don't. You say to her later, so I don't seem creepy? No. I mean, obviously there's something going on that makes you think that there might be something creepy about someone your age talking to somebody this age.
I can actually show you my. I have my archived of all my chats for the last 6 months, and most of them I refer to myself as creepy because internet guys are generally creepy guys.
So this is just playing around.
Most of it, sir, just talking.
You ever watch? Go ahead.
Sorry, this is the first time I've actually ever considered coming to Everson's house like this.
And what made you come over to this house on this night?
On this night, because this weekend I normally go back to OSU or back to Columbus where my house is, and I like to hang out there with my friends and all. But all of them are gone on spring break this week, so I knew anything to do this weekend.
So you're just bored.
Yes, sir.
All your pals are gone, and so you figured you'd come over here and hang out naked with a 13-year-old girl.
Not naked per se. Sir.
Well, that's what it says in the chat, man.
But I don't say that we have to get naked or anything like that. So
You said it.
I did say it. I do admit that. I can't deny it because it is right there.
Oh, it is right there.
I understand that, sir.
It makes me wonder how many other times you've done this.
I have all my records, sir. I have my computer up front if you'd like me to bring it in, and I can show you.
You have your computer.
Yes, sir.
Why did you bring it with you?
Because I was going to go home after this. And I took my computer with me.
Where do you go to school?
I go to Miami University, sir.
You ever watch TV, Nick?
Yes, sir.
You ever watch Dateline NBC?
Yes, sir.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on people who try to meet teens online.
Okay, sir.
If you have anything else you'd like to say, we'd like to hear it. If not, you're obviously free to go.
Okay, sir. I was just saying, I repeat again that I didn't do any of these acts. I've never have. And I never will. Because it's wrong. This is shows. And I didn't really think anything was going to happen here. We were going to watch that movie Waiting. I guess we just saw. And play some pool. Probably not strip. Probably almost guaranteed not.
Almost guaranteed not. Even though that's what you're talking about.
But I would not so say.
If there's something else you want to say, that's fine. Not, you're obviously free.
I really should follow my gut feelings a lot of times. Not better things. I don't think I can say much else. Do I have to sign anything?
No.
This is going to be on TV, you know?
Don't. We're doing a story. We're not sure what all is going to be. We don't even know.
Will my face be on TV?
I honestly don't.
Well, I
know.
mean, I know I have to sign something in order for you.
You actually don't, because it's a news program, yeah. So
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
You think that's cool?
Well, I think it's cool that you guys don't have to have a release. I never knew that. That's all. I mean, it's not cool that...
You think it's cool that you're here?
No, not at all, sir. Not in the situation.
So I guess what the answer to your question is, no decisions have been made as to what all is going to be in the program.
Okay, sir.
But if you give me your number, or if you want to call...
You already have it. So.
Okay. Great. All right, well, thanks very much.
All right.
Okay.
You guys have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
The only pieces of media that are lost, or were lost, were the chat logs, but they've since been found. The only exception to this is Thomas Moffat, who was acquitted on the grounds of him, quote-unquote, trying to leave. His attorney successfully convinced the jury of this. But for some reason, his chat log is missing. We don't know what was written, we don't know the context behind it, and most importantly, we don't know what incriminating things he may have said. This sting saw 20 people be arrested. The chat logs were archived, but uncut confrontations and police interrogations have never been made public. This is a clear reoccurring trend here, I can see. This sting saw 31 people be arrested over 3 days. The chat logs for 4 people remain missing to this day, and a lot of it has to do with the outcome of the legal cases that followed these stings. Joseph Roisman's charges would be acquitted, and perverted justice would be accused of entrapment by the judge in his case, leading to his chat log to never be published. This sting saw 38 people be arrested over many days. The only thing that is notable about this sting in particular is that no uncut confrontation is available. This sting is infamous for the suicide of Louis Conrad. He was a predator that shot himself when he realized that he got caught. This sting in particular saw 25 people be arrested. The chat logs are mostly lost, and nothing else in particular has been released. Though I would say that what happened to Conrad could have happened to a better person. It goes without saying that this is, without question, one of the most disturbing moments on television, and it's no surprise that To Catch a Predator would end up being canceled soon after.
There's one more day left in our undercover operation, and perverted justice decoys are still in chat rooms.
I got those other pictures, and let me tell you.
Our investigation is about to take a disturbing turn. A decoy is hit on by someone you'd never dream could be involved in trying to have sex with a young teen.
Assistant District Attorney for Coffin County, using big pics.
But here in Murphy, Texas, just outside of Dallas, this is the first time we've come across an assistant district attorney. We watched as an emergency medical team arrived and hoped they could somehow save him. But as Conrad is brought out on a stretcher, it's clear his condition is grave. He is then airlifted to Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas, where he later dies.
Out of all the scenarios that you considered as those minutes ticked by, was Mr. Conrad's suicide one of them?
Absolutely not. We anticipated there was going to be a fight, and by that I mean a legal fight. But we never anticipated anything like that.
Police searched Conrad's home and seized 3 computers, Chief Myrick says a specialist at the local sheriff's office was unable to search the computer because the hard drive had so many complicated locks on it.
They've had to communicate directly with the security personnel with the Sony Corporation and sent the computers to them, and they are working as we speak, I guess, to try to dismantle those locks and get into the hard drive on that computer.
What does that say about the contents of those?
Unfortunately, I mean, and I am just surmising or guessing here too, that it's going to be something that's going to be way worse than the chats or even than the pictures that he had already sent.
Why was it so important to you to move quickly here? Why not, for instance, wait until Monday morning and let him go into the office and make a controlled arrest at his office?
Simply because when he started the maneuvers to erase evidence or to close out accounts and everything, we didn't want there to be any more destruction of the records and evidence tampering things than what had already taken place.
Conrad's boss, Ray Sumrow, the district attorney in Rockwall County, has been critical of Chief Myrick, saying he rushed to make the arrest without consulting him first. Sumrow claims the chief was more interested in Dateline's cameras than in justice. Myrick strongly denies that and says he went by the book and even took the extra step of contacting the police chief in Conrad's town.
From the police end of it, now you got reviewed by two chiefs. On the legal end, you got reviewed by two judges, and we all think we're making pretty sound decisions here and that it is time to do something.
So this just wasn't the Murphy PD saying,
no, sir, it wasn't anything that was taken lightly by anybody. And then everybody took note of who he was, all the way up the line. We all knew who he was. And nobody anticipated the kind of outcome that resulted, and certainly nobody wanted that kind of outcome.
Another vocal critic, the prosecutor's sister, Patricia Conrad. She spoke at a Murphy Town Council meeting just days after her brother killed himself.
My family and I have experienced a great deal of hurt and sadness over this situation. And I intend to fight as hard and as long as I can to prevent other people from becoming victims of such reckless actions as those taken by your employees, which were set in motion by a self-appointed group acting as judge, jury, and executioner. That was encouraged by an out-of-control reality show. I will never consider my brother's death a suicide.
For the record, since Conrad never came to the house, there's no indication that he knew Dateline.
This sting would catch 21 people. While none of the uncut confrontations have ever been released, most of the chat logs and police interrogations are available. This sting would catch 28 people. The interrogations and uncut confrontations have never been released. This sting would catch 7 people. This is a bit of a mixed bag, because some of the interrogations and confrontations are available, some of them aren't.